The question of power in America is a complex and multifaceted issue. In the current political landscape, figures such as former President Donald Trump, former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard, and Russian President Vladimir Putin emerge as significant players. Each of these individuals wields power in distinct ways. Trump through his influence over the Republican Party and his base, Gabbard through her unique political stance and appeal to a segment of the electorate, and Putin through his geopolitical influence that affects U.S. interests. This video seeks to explore the dynamics of power among these figures, examining how they influence American politics and public perception, and ultimately assessing who holds the most power in the context of contemporary America. Donald Trump's political influence cannot be overstated. As the 45th President of the United States, he reshaped the Republican Party, turning it into a populist movement that prioritized nationalistic policies, economic protectionism, and a strong anti-establishment sentiment. His supporters view him as a champion of the working class, despite his wealth and status as a businessman. Trump's power is evident in his ability to mobilize a dedicated base, which remains loyal even after his presidency. His influence persists through endorsements and public statements that can sway elections and party dynamics. Trump's endorsement can make or break political careers, as seen in various Republican primaries where candidates align themselves with his policies to garner support. His grip on the GOP has also stifled dissent, creating a political landscape where loyalty to Trump often supersedes traditional party ideologies. Trump's relationship with the media is another avenue of his power. He has a unique ability to dominate news cycles, utilizing social media platforms to communicate directly with the public. His use of Twitter, now X, allowed him to bypass traditional media filters, enabling him to frame narratives on his terms. This media strategy cultivated a direct connection with his supporters, fostering a sense of loyalty and urgency. Moreover, Trump's rhetoric often resonates with a significant portion of the American populace who feel disillusioned by the political establishment. His use of populist language and focus on issues like immigration, economic disparity, and national identity speaks to widespread concerns, allowing him to maintain a potent influence in American politics.
Who were really the powerful people? Was it the director of CIA? Was it FBI? Was it the big pharma? Was it military-industrial complex guys that are General Dynamics?
Yeah.
Who were the people
I
like,
get it.
oh, I got you. You have, I never thought you had power. Who actually has
The
power?
most powerful person by far, the president. Power over everybody. Power. The power is enormous.
Most people don't believe that.
It is. But there is a sort of a deep state. And a lot of that's people that have been there. And then there's some bad guys, there's some bad people. Then there's a radical left, which I think are more dangerous in many ways than the other countries. I really do. You know, guys like Shifty Adam Schiff and other people. They're bad people. They're sort of sick people. Not stupid people either, by the way. Smart
of course,
people.
Sure.
But they're vicious, but they're very bad for our country.
Is Adam Schiff powerful?
Can you imagine? Well, he made up the Russia hoax.
No,
He and Hillary.
What I'm saying is, who is their boss? Who calls them and say, you better or else?
I think it's an amorphous group. It's a group. It's not one person. It's an amorphous group of lunatics. And when they come together, they're pretty bad. But let me just say this. The president has the absolute, if the president is, now Biden doesn't know he's alive, so I don't think I really believe they used him as a vessel, like a vessel in the night.
Tulsi Gabbard, on the other hand, presents a contrasting approach to power in American politics.
Who actually runs the government, in your experience?
Not who you think it is. It's and in many cases, especially recently, the troubling part about all this is it's not even people who we vote for. When you look at what happened when President Biden had that infamous debate with President Trump, it exposed the reality that many of us have known for a long time, which is that President Biden has not been the guy calling the shots. He has not been the guy making the decisions, nor has it been Kamala Harris, for that matter, nor will it be if she is elected president. It is this cabal of the Democrat elite, the woke warmongers, made up of the likes of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and, Tony Blinken and Jake Sullivan and, people who are in the military industrial complex, people who profit from us being in a constant state of war. It is those in the administrative state, in the national security state, who derive more authorities and ability to take away our liberty when we are in a heightened state of crisis or war. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are not in office right now, but they still continue to wield immense power in influencing the decisions that are being made.
So can I just, it's sort of sidebar, but I think relevant, interesting. Are you answering the question that everyone watching has, which is who is running the government at this point? It's obviously not Joe Biden. Yeah. You think Hillary Clinton?
It's not a leap of imagination to know that that's true when you look at the people who are in Joe Biden's administration. They are the people who were the right hands for the Obama administration, for President Obama, and for Hillary Clinton.
As a former congresswoman and presidential candidate, Gabbard has carved out a niche as a progressive voice with a willingness to challenge both the Democratic establishment and conservative norms. Her military background and foreign policy experience provide her with a distinctive platform, allowing her to critique U.S. foreign interventions and advocate for diplomacy over conflict. Gabbard's appeal lies in her authenticity and willingness to address contentious issues, such as the military-industrial complex and climate change. She often attracts younger voters and those disenchanted with traditional party politics. However, her positions have sometimes placed her at odds with mainstream Democratic views, particularly her critiques of U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts and her outreach to conservative audiences. While Gabbard may not wield the same immediate power as Trump, her influence can be seen in the growing acceptance of anti-establishment sentiments within progressive circles. Her ability to engage in dialogue across the political spectrum allows her to connect with individuals who may feel alienated by the current political discourse. On the other hand, Vladimir Putin, the Russian president who has often depicted various American leaders as puppets, manipulated by forces beyond their control. Putin's views on American presidents, his motivations for labeling them as puppets, and the broader implications of these perceptions on international relations. To understand Putin's perspective, it is essential to consider the historical backdrop of U.S.-Russia relations. The Cold War set the stage for a prolonged ideological battle between capitalism and communism, with each superpower striving for global influence. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked a significant turning point, leading to a unipolar world dominated by the United States. However, the 1990s were tumultuous for Russia, characterized by economic turmoil and a loss of international stature, creating a deep-seated resentment toward what many Russians perceived as American hegemony. In the years following his rise to power in 1999, Putin sought to restore Russia's influence on the world stage. He positioned himself as a strong leader, often using anti-Western rhetoric to galvanize domestic support. This context is crucial for understanding why he labels certain American presidents as puppets, suggesting they are subservient to a more sinister force, whether it be elite interests, the military-industrial complex, or global capitalism. Putin's relationship with President George W. Bush was initially characterized by a degree of personal rapport. Bush famously stated, "I looked the man in the eye," expressing a belief that he could trust Putin. However, as the U.S. embarked on its war on terror following the September 11th attacks, tensions began to surface. The invasion of Iraq in 2003 was particularly controversial, with Putin vehemently opposing it. He perceived Bush's decision as a reflection of American unilateralism, suggesting that the president was acting under the influence of neoconservative advisors rather than pursuing a balanced foreign policy.